just a fleece. It's a mirage.
A fleece and a mirage. Wow, that's deep.
And that's the truth. Some of us are here because we decided to come. For example, coming to Canada as a consultant psychiatrist, I had my hospital. I had the money. I had my driver. I had everything working. I had 3 vehicles. I had built a house and I was living in a duplex. But why did I come? Some of us, we looked at it and we said, you know what? For the sake of my...
Wait. He had all these achievements and he still decided to immigrate. Okay, my fellow engineers and my fellow software developers, welcome back to this channel. And today we want to take a review and a good listen to one of these viral videos online, concerning a Nigerian immigrant to Canada. I've often talked about issues about jobs, and for those that have actually taught programming in Lagos and Nigeria, I've always encouraged them to be self-sufficient and perhaps give them leads. After the training, I usually give them job opportunities both home and abroad that they can actually key into. All right, so when you register with Hands-On Labs and I teach you programming for a certain period of time, once I see you've completed the curriculum I set for you, the next thing is I'm going to link you up to jobs. All right, now that aside, where I'm going is this: as a Nigerian, I always encourage you to look inwards rather than look outwards. A lot of people can and are not just can, are making cool cash working online remotely without necessarily putting themselves through the hassle of traveling, relocation, and the likes. And let me use the opportunity to state this: that several Africans, several Nigerians, several of us from this part of the world, we usually play the narrative of some sort of weird narrative, but I would not want to go into details. Let's just take a listen at this conversation and see if we can put together some 1 or 2 lessons for life. All right.
Is work in Canada compared to work in Nigeria?
Canada doesn't program you to work and enjoy your work.
Canada doesn't program you to work and enjoy your work. Wow, that's interesting.
Have you faced any sort of discrimination?
Don't come to Canada if you are stable back home.
Don't come to Canada if you are stable back home.
It's not what it is.
Immigrating to Canada is very glamorous to potential immigrants in third world countries. They dangle.
Wait, it's glamorous. I mean, that's some sort of figure of speech. It's glamorous to those at home.
The dream of becoming a citizen.
They dangle. That is like dangling a carrot for a rabbit so you can catch the rabbit. That's what it means.
One day. And while there are a lot of benefits, the Canadian economy seems to be heavily burdened with all these people coming in, hasn't it?
Well, and that's another important thing is taking note of that the economy of Canada is already burdened with a lot of immigrants.
Immigrant myself, I can see the crisis in housing, delays in immigration.
Oh, housing, immigration, weak job markets.
So today I share an interview with you of a Nigerian immigrant brother.
Okay, so I guess this guy is a Nigerian. The guy is about to interview. He's a Nigerian.
Who is facing some of the common struggles we experience as a foreign worker. What is your name?
Peter is my name.
And what do you do in Canada?
Well, I'm a research student. I'm a master's student in University of Saskatoon, and I'm also a medical doctor back home in Nigeria. Even though presently in Canada, I'm trying to have an assessment of all my credentials so that I can practice in Canada.
How different is work in Canada compared to work in Nigeria?
Well, 2 sides. In Nigeria, we are more culturally oriented. So, for example, a client walked into my clinic. There's tendency for me to ask, how are you? What did you eat yesterday? And usually there's no time limit. You want a person to talk. But here in Canada, the client walks into your place. Everything is timed. Canada is more regimented. You get to your place of work, you already have your schedule. You see, that's your duty. Do this, do this, do this. Done, not done. Why? The dollar you get in, you have to work for it. Do you understand? So there's no sitting down, no loitering around, nothing. You just have to do it. kind of make you feel on edge. So Canada makes you feel like you're working for your money. Meanwhile in Nigeria, you're working and you're enjoying your work. Canada doesn't program.
Really enjoying working and enjoying your work. Well, I think I can relate to that.
To work and enjoy your work. The master that is paying you is saying, I'm paying you to get this job done. But in Nigeria, it's more like enjoy, more relaxed, and you're still getting your money. And that is huge.
Have you faced any sort of...
Wow, he made a statement. He said that is huge. You know, relaxed and doing your job. You know, I tell people things that some of those things I actually try to encourage people is that you know, here in this part of the world, especially in Nigeria, people, you know, they carry this immigration of a thing as if it's some sort of, you know, fantasy, as if going abroad is like going to paradise. All right, but actually reality dawns not long afterwards, just like this man is you know, narrating.
Discrimination in the workplace in Canada because of your background?
Of course, definitely.
So that means there is discrimination. Okay, this is not hearsay. We are hearing from someone who is actually resident as an immigrant in Canada.
Because I was a supervisor. Even my co-supervisors discriminated against me.
Wow, that's huge. If your co-supervisors could discriminate against you, that means there is bias. There is obvious bias.
Even the staff I had to supervise discriminated against me.
And the staff is supervising as well. Wow.
They just couldn't imagine that one black man from Africa would come around and then become a supervisor.
Really? Well, there's this notion that I had about you know, some people in the West feeling, you know, having this thought in their head that in Africa people live on trees, you know, they live in forests and jungles and the likes. People still have this kind of ideology in their mindset, but it's just a pity. It's just a huge ignorance. So I'm guessing that is what is allowing these co-workers and co-supervisors to behave to, you know, to this Nigerian man like this.
My colleague supervisor would go to the staff and would be asking, how was Peter today? Did he perform? So that was quite huge. I felt it. That's unfortunate. So I had to take it over the management and said, no, that's wrong.
If you had to give any advice to someone in Nigeria who wants to come to work in Canada, what would you tell them?
No, don't come to Canada if you're stable back home.
Don't come to Canada if you're steady back home. Wow, that is. But the thing is, are people going to be watching this? I just discovered that a lot of people don't watch this kind of things. They don't. You know, you see, you know, going at the days where in Nigeria, I learned, according to what I had, when Nigeria's currency was still above the dollar, embassies, these international embassies in Lagos, they used to appeal to Nigerians to travel there. But I guess because of the currency disparity and other things like that, you know, Nigerians have just begun to have been throwing themselves at the embassies, and they, you know, there's a lot of insults that Nigerians go through at several embassies. I've heard of stories, we've heard of several stories like that. Let's just pray that one day Nigeria gets back to its former glory and maintain it so that these kind of things will not be experienced, you know.
It's not worth it. It's just a fleece. It's a mirage.
A fleece and a mirage. Wow, that's deep.
And that's the truth. Some of us are here because we decided to come. For example, coming to Canada as a consultant psychiatrist, I had my hospital. I had the money. I had my driver. I had everything working. I had 3 vehicles. I had built a house and I was living in a duplex. But why did I come? Some of us, we looked at it and we said, you know what? For the sake of my...
Wait. He had all these achievements and he still decided to immigrate. Wow, that was really, really mind-blowing. Who would do that?
The children.
So did you come to Canada mainly for your kids?
2 things. I wanted the international community to benefit from my wealth of knowledge.
Okay, I think that is a good reason. That's a good reason.
Also benefit from them and use it to build Africa. And at the same time, Canada is rewarding me with citizenship that my children will benefit from.
How do the salaries?
Okay, I think that makes it reasonable, but there's still a lot of downsides to it because of the culture differences and all that.
For Canada compared to Nigeria,
salaries in Nigeria is better. You
Now, this is a very important point as well. Is making the exchange rate and the cost of living, because a whole lot of Nigerians always complain about earning less, but they forget that there's a huge difference between the standard of living in the two countries. The way utilities are supplied in the Western world is different from the ones in Nigeria. You can opt not to pay for power supply in Nigeria and get your own power source. The same thing applies with gas. You can actually opt for getting your gas, or perhaps even making firewood. Nobody's going to come after you. But I think it's the opposite thing over there.
$1,000 to get my house, rent, everything may just be about 300 or 400. I have opportunity to save like 500 from my salary. You can't try that in Canada.
Wow, that is shocking. Out of $1,000, you can barely save anything. Wow, that's really, really interesting.
Your rent
is not even enough. You have to cut your coat according to your clothes in Canada, because your rent, many things are competing. So it's like they give and they take.
Wow.
The system will take it away from you, from parking lot, from the toll gate, from bill, from charges, everything, bus pass. Take your money.
It comes and goes fast.
You can save more back in Nigeria. You get 1,000. You can, if you are not a extravagant person, you save half of your salary.
That's good to know. I didn't know that. Do you have any regrets coming to Canada?
At the beginning, I had a regret, but the reason why my regrets were very limited was because I knew what I was going into. I knew it was going to be, there were going to be challenges. But the unemployment rate, the housing, the discriminations. Sometimes you don't prepare for some of these things. Even if you knew theoretically that you're going to face them, when they hit you, then you know that it's real. And those moments, I had my regrets.
Wow. That is very, very deep, man. Those few statements we just had is deep, man. And it's better imagined than experienced.
But I just discovered that as you ease into the system, as you get acclimatized, you just begin to understand the system for what it is. There are a lot of systemic discrimination that you won't see it as a form of discrimination because it's already systematized. It's already part of the system. They won't put it in your face. We call it systemic discrimination. It's quite huge, but it's hidden under laws, organizational rules, and code.
Are you in Canada? Drop your comments below and let us know what this man is saying. Are you actually in support of what he's saying, or you're against it? If you're in Nigeria, you've been there, kindly drop your comment and let's just have a discussion about this.
But you will know that it's deeply hidden. But don't put it and show it to your face and say, oh, you have been discriminated upon. They'll tell you we're against Calabar, we're against discrimination, we're against bullying and harassment, but it is systemic. So those things you regret. But by and large, when you look at the brighter future, the knowledge you are getting, so for that, I give it to them.
Brother, you are amazing. You're amazing. Give me a hug. If you're curious what's it like to be a human in the modern world, then subscribe to my channel. My name is Iram, and I share stories of strangers all around.